Okay, this meeting is being recorded. It's going to be posted to our YouTube channel for the membership that could not make the meeting and for a reference for everybody else. So just want to say good morning to everybody. And I hope everybody's safe and healthy and doing well. And I wanted to let everyone know that I presented at the last NIAB meeting, which was March 17th. And I presented on the Head Mechanics Association and for membership and to promote our scholarship fund and our head mechanics training, the ASC certification program that we have going. And after that, we have gotten a few other districts that want to become members. That's why I put together the new dues letter that will be going out to everyone. And I'll go over that here in a little bit. Our last meeting was held on March 16th. Cody Shamrock presented on air conditioning and maintenance. So on a few of the notes that I took from that meeting was that on the IC buses, the control panel is behind the dash. In the stepwell, he spoke about the BTU rating of the whole AC system is altered by the weakest component. So if you have a 120K unit with a 60K compressor, the whole unit can be no more than 60K. He spoke about the superheat and the with the vapor. We all know that the gas when the gas evaporates, it removes the heat. He spoke about the metering devices, the different ones that we had, the block valve, the expansion valve, and the orifice tubes. I know here at Shenandoah Hole, we clean those on a regular basis. When we have AC blockages and problems, we stock all those parts. Below 65 degrees, the compressor will not turn on. And I think this is just with the system that he was speaking about, because I know some of them will as soon as you turn them on. You want to look for moisture in the dryer filter. We have there are skirt mounted condensers with covers for those on some of the new buses. And we want to make sure you take those covers off when you operate them. We have somebody joining. Okay, we just want to let you know that the meeting is being recorded and we're going to post this to our YouTube channel. So you want, and cleanliness, you want to keep the condensers, you want to keep everything, the evaporators nice and clean. So today's presenter will be Mike Staley and Kevin Rocklin with Don Brown Bus Sales. They will be presenting on wheelchair lifts, maintenance, and operation. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the meeting over to you guys.
All right, let me see if I can share this screen for you guys. Let me know if it comes up for you. Let's see. There we go. All right, can you see that?
Yeah, I can see. Can everybody else see that?
All right.
I see it. It's small. I gotta make it bigger here.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's probably just for me though. So you can go right ahead.
All right. I'm Kevin. I'm the fixed ops director over here, and this is Mike Staley. He's our lead mechanic, and he's going to be presenting on this for you guys. And we'll follow the slides along. He's going to go over the operation probably relatively quick because you guys are familiar with it, and then he'll get into more of the technical stuff, and then whatever questions you guys have to answer.
Good morning. As Kevin said, I'm Mike Staley here at Don Brown Bus Sales. I've been, give or take 13 years here working on lifts. As Kevin said, the operation, I don't think anybody here really needs to know much about that. Vehicle interlock, making sure that the vehicle is running when you're operating your lift, making sure that it's on level ground, that you have a place for the lift to land so it's not crooked. All the safeties will shut it off if that's not the case. So I'm sure everybody is aware of that. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about operation unless there's any questions about it. If there is, we can answer them at the end. The first thing I want to talk about is going to be basically inspecting it. This may not follow the slide perfectly. Trust me, I'm better at wheelchair lifts than I am at computers. So I'll just tell you what I know and we'll go over these lifts. As you can see behind me, I believe you can see behind me, I have a Braun lift, which is probably the most prominent lift that we see. I don't know what each individual unit or school district or whatever has, whether it's Rycon or Braun, they all operate the same, give or take. They all need to be serviced the same. They need the same lubricants. The hydraulic fluid is different, but when it comes to the actual lubricating, the moving points, whether it's grease, whether it's what both of them call a light oil, there's some dry lube that Braun recommends. They all get serviced and cleaned the same. So if I say that we're going to take the pins out and lube them with light oil, it's going to be the same for Rycon or Braun, but we are concentrating mostly on Braun because that's what I have behind me. Braun has specifics that they list in their website. I think Kevin listed that at the end of this. It's a Braun Ability Connect.
Yep.
It's there. They have a lot of good information in there. They have a lot of specifics, especially if you have something that's under warranty. They want to make sure that you're using what they recommend. So keep that in mind, especially when it comes to hydraulic oil. And they just recently changed it. So if you have any cylinder repairs or pump repairs, you have to flush it out and use the new oil. Hopefully you can see this. I don't know, I can't see what you can see, but this is the new oil. Hold on one second, let's see, so we can see what the screen looks like. There it is in the corner.
Yeah.
Okay, can everybody see this? This is the new oil that Braun is, I won't say recommending, it's what they're mandating that we use. On any of the new lift, this is what you use. If you, like I said, if you repair and have to replace oil, they recommend that you flush it and refill it with this oil. You can use it in the older lifts, but you have to flush the original oil out. And you lost me again.
No, it's all right.
No.
You can see it.
Okay. Hydraulic oil for Rycon, I'm guessing that at least some of you have Rycon. Everybody knows at Rycon you have to use their aircraft oil, which is this that Rycon recommends. Don't get caught using different stuff if you're under warranty because they don't like it. I've had a customer come up that put snowplow hydraulic oil in their lift and wanted us to warranty it. Obviously that didn't work well. So hydraulic oil is pretty much, that's it. 2 of them, use them. For light oil, you can use just about anything. Braun has a 3M that they recommend, but it's not mandatory. Hold on a second again. For light oil, what I use here is I either use a silicone lubricant, brand unspecific, it doesn't matter. We use PB Blaster products a lot. You can use WD-40, Napa brand, whatever you want to use. Another multi-purpose we use, again, is a blaster. That will work for any of the places on the lift that require light oil. I will go over them here briefly. And then the only other thing they recommend is a light grease. The 2 things that I use for a light grease, they're both spray products. This is well worth, it's just a liquid spray grease. And then Liquid Wrench also makes a white lithium grease that works well. So for any of your lubricating, that's the stuff that we recommend. That's what I use here. I've been using it for years. have never had a lubrication related failure on any of the stuff that we've put out. So I trust those products. But like I said, you can use any brand name. They're all the same as far as I'm concerned when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, go ahead. Lift operation, we don't need that one. Okay, we can talk, we'll just hit this slide real quick. The manual operation of it. I'm sure everybody's had to have at one time or another raise and lower a lift platform by hand. It's not fun. It's only for emergency purposes only. The only time that manual lift pump is required, if the lift is functioning on a Braun, if it settles unevenly on the lift tight latches, if the platform is crooked after you've been driving it and your hand pendant doesn't light up, Braun recommends using the hand pump, pump it up to full stow, and then the lift should come back on and you should be able to use it. Go ahead and lower it to floor level and down, whatever you need to do. There's really not a lot. There's one note, I guess, is not to over tighten. When you're done and you tighten the plug back into the pump, don't over tighten it. Once you score that, then you've got to replace the pump because there is no repair. It's a non-serviceable feature. You throw it away and put another pump in. And that's what Braun sells you, is the whole pump module, which also is sitting behind me. I don't know if you can see it or not. But if you have a pump or motor failure, this is what you're getting. Reservoir, pump, motor, the whole bit. It comes with a solenoid. All the stuff you need is right there. So if you over tighten that screw in there, that's what you're going to be paying for. So don't do that. Next. Okay, common issues. This is Braun lifts. I don't have a whole lot of common issues to talk about other than what I just mentioned, that they will oftentimes settle on the lift tight latches on one side or the other, and the other side will deploy further, which does in fact shut the lift off. And that's when you have to pump it up. Once that's up, then you should be back. As long as all of your other safeties are intact, that'll be fine. Some of the issues that we had earlier with Braun is going from floor level, when you're deploying the lift to ground level, it would go down about 4 inches and shut off. There is a IB occupied switch and a plunger that they had a huge problem with for about a year. I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about or where it is. There's a little angle bracket that's got a rubber puck on it, and as it goes down, the IB comes up and hits the IB occupied switch. And if it doesn't, it stops. If that switch gets pushed in too far, it stops. If that rubber bumper comes off, it stops. Or if it somehow got bent, it stops. So if you're going and the lift is going down and stops, that's the first thing. Pull up on that IB, see if you can engage that IB switch and go down, and then you'll be fine. Hopefully. If not, you've got a different issue. Some of them are easy, some of them are not. I'm sure that you've all had fun with them from time to time. So that's one that I've seen. Another one that we've had a fair amount of trouble with is the outer barrier raised switch. If that doesn't come up when the lift platform comes up, again, we all know the lift stops. Those, for some reason, either get damaged or get deteriorated by weather, rain, snow, dirt, whatever it is. They're a little tiny micro switch with a little baby plunger in it, and they break very easy. The new ones have a redundant switch on it, so they're not as bad. With the older lifts, and when I say older, we're only going back probably 4 or 5 years ago they changed that. The older ones had a single switch on the one, either forward or aft side of the platform. If that switch went bad, you were dead in the water. You could override it, but I'm not going to tell you how to do that. Then I'll get in trouble. But that switch is there. Then really the only other issues is if they're out of adjustment. They should never get out of adjustment unless you have somebody that's in there with their Allen wrench trying to adjust the tower switches and somehow it gets off, then when it comes up to floor level, if it doesn't come up far enough, it won't fold. If it comes up too far, it's not going to fold either. So that's an issue, and that's an adjustment. And I'm going to go over real quick what the 4 towers do on a brawn lift. Everybody familiar with that, I hope. You have towers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And the way I remember it is 1, first thing you're going to do is deploy the lift. So tower 1 is your down or your unfold down to floor level. That's where it adjusts how it stops or what position it stops. You should have about an inch of overlap between your IB, your inner barrier, and your threshold plate. When that lift comes down, that platform stops, there should be about an inch overlap from the 2 plates. If it stops there, you'll find you should be able to go down. Going down, it's just down. It stops when it hits the ground. When you raise the lift, when it comes back up, tower 2 is what stops that when it comes from ground level back up to vehicle floor level, and you want that lift to come right back to the same spot. It should overlap just a little bit so that the wheelchair going across doesn't fall, doesn't have to go over too big of a bump or anything like that. Your threshold, your tower 3 switch is your threshold alarm. That's adjusted so that your alarm will sound when the platform is more than 2 inches below floor level. As the platform goes down, your IB raises. When that IB comes up 2 inches, that alarm should sound. That's pretty easy to adjust. You just use your Allen wrench, go in there, tower 3, in or out, whichever way it's off, and that'll adjust it. Your tower 4 is your partial fold micro switch. That's the one for your 50-pound stow lock. I'm sure we all know what that is, so it doesn't flip people up in the air when you're on the platform. It doesn't fold up with too much pressure. That should work from floor level till about a 45-degree angle. You should be able to hold down on that platform relatively easy. At 45, your tower 4 micro switch takes over, which puts full hydraulic pressure back to the cylinders so that that lift will fold with full power and go up and stow and go where it's supposed to. That's the 4 micro switches. With brawn, they're extremely simple, 1, 2, 3, 4, and if you go to the brawn website, I think there's a diagram that shows them, but just remember, 1's down, 2's up, 3 is your alarm, and 4 is fold. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. The Ricon adjustments are a little bit trickier. It only has 2 adjustment screws. The upper one adjusts both upper and lower. The other one is for your fold and your override. If you're adjusting them, the only thing I'm going to recommend on that is that they take a Phillips screwdriver, they're in on the side of the lift. And when you're adjusting them, especially if you're turning counterclockwise, every time you turn a little ways, tap on the head of the screwdriver inward so that it sets that switch. Because as you turn the Phillips screw counterclockwise, trying to bring the switch out, it'll move, but the switch will stay and the screw will actually move in the switch. So you have to tap on that to get it to go where you want it. On the Ricons, if you're adjusting them, it says to just hold the hand pendant in the down or whichever position you're going. Don't do that. Adjust it, cycle it through once or twice, and then see if it goes. If you try adjusting it just by holding the pendant down and adjusting your switches down, it's not going to give you an accurate adjustment. Something I should have mentioned about adjusting, and it goes to both of them, always make sure the vehicle is running. I've seen a bunch of people, even here, they will try to adjust the lift with the vehicle off. The battery gets low, the pump runs a little bit slower, everything is off. They start to bus up and get ready to leave, and it doesn't work. And it's because it should always be adjusted with it running. Also, you want it as close to operating temperature as you can. If it's like the other morning, it was cold and we had a brand new lift, it deployed slow as molasses. And why? Because the oil was cold. So if you're adjusting it, try to get it to where it's in the shop room temperature, vehicle running. If you can't get it inside, cycle it through 4, 5, 6 times, get the oil so it flows a little bit easier, and then adjust it. Other than that, for adjustments, there's not much I can say here. Anybody that wants to know how, I mean, I'm available. I'm at Don Brown, call me. I can help you walk through the stuff. So on a one-on-one basis, but for adjusting them, that's really as much as we can do through a computer screen, I guess. Lubricant now, I'm going to go back over some of the points, especially on a Braun, of what lubricant. And Braun uses oil on all but 2 spots. There's the fold arms, you use a light grease. The fold arms, or hopefully everybody knows where they are. There's gas shocks inside, and then there's a double bracket, if you will, that folds, that just slides in and out on itself. That's where you will use your spray grease. Also, on the saddle bearings, they use a product called Door Ease, which is basically, grab it for me, Kevin. It's basically a wax stick. It's a dry, doesn't stain. I get it at Napa. The nylon saddle block is where that goes. I don't think probably anybody's ever put it on except for me, and they're always dry, but that goes on there. That will help with your micro switches in the parallel arms. So use it. It's $4 for a tube. It'll last you the rest of your life. When I do a service on a lift, you can change that. I don't know what's next.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go, lubrication. The biggest, my little second bullet there, clean the dirt and debris. That's the biggest problem I see with the lifts that we have in this part of the country. I don't want to mention any names, so I won't. But we have several customers that bring their lifts, and I swear they store the lifts outside the van at night because they're just so filthy, dirty, and rusty, and wonder why they don't work. If you've got a lift that gets rusty like that, what I do is I pull every single pin out of the parallel arms, out of the vertical arm. I take all the pins out, clean them with a wire wheel, lubricate them with the spray oil, and put them back in. And 9 out of 10 times that fixes the problem. But keeping them clean, hopefully all you guys are schooled and they stay clean. But that's the thing. Keep them clean, keep them lubed, and these lifts will last a lot. The Braun has a 750 cycle count service interval all the way up to 4,500 cycles, and then it says start over again. So at 4,500, you go back to the next 750. So Braun anticipates these lifts lasting a long time. So if we take care of them, we keep them lubricated, we keep them taken care of, there's no reason they won't. Most of them, unfortunately, I see don't go that far because they're not taken care of. But servicing them, using them correctly, and taking care of them, and they'll last you for the longest time. And pretty much it. Little difference between the Brauns and the Rycons for anybody. One of the things, I get quite a few phone calls, and it embarrasses people, and I hate it for them. Rycon uses the seat belt as part of the safeties, whereas Braun uses the inner and outer roll stops. Rycon lift will not work without the seat belt being connected fully. Also, Rycon uses an electronic board, which I absolutely hate. Both of them, like I said right from the start, both of them operate basically the same way. They both have a hand pendant. Both of them have an interlock system. Both of them have a light. They both have safeties. Rycon has a little bit different of a threshold setup than what Braun does. but they all will do the same thing. Yeah, next.
These are just the references.
Okay, there's the references. Because we've got our address and phone number down there. I can help you out a whole lot more by phone or in person. This is my first time doing this, what do we call this? Virtual training. So hope you can at least get a little bit of good information out of it. And I'm here. If you need anything, just call us. We're here.
Yeah, and I don't know that first website. I don't know how much access everyone has to it. We're obviously a dealer for Braun, and I'm sure some of you guys are as well. I don't know if you need a login to get to certain things. I think their manuals are pretty much out there for everyone. If not, on our website, the parts website, we actually keep all the manuals updated. So if you, for whatever reason, have an issue getting on the BA Connect, you can always go to Don Brown Bus Parts and just go under the Braun lifts. We have more stuff on Braun than we do Rycon. We just, with Rycon and Braun, I mean, Braun seems to have better service. And so the Rycon website is all right. It works all right. It's just they're located in California. Their times don't really line up the same. It's hard to get a hold of people sometimes. But if you guys ever had any questions, you can call us and we'll help you out as best as we can. I think that is it. I think that's all we have. Let me make sure I'm doing this right here. All right. Let's see. All right, Dan, how do I, let me see if I can stop presenting. Let's see if that works. Oh, there it goes. All right. All right, yeah, if you guys have any questions for Mike, feel free to ask. I won't be able to answer it for you unless it's parts related.
Does anybody have any questions? Any questions at all?
Yeah, I have one thing, Dan. The pitch of the roads now, when you're parking your lifts and where they pitch down, I know we've had to adjust them quite a bit. I mean, they don't take the road down like they used to, so you have that crown where your back part hits before your forward part. So, I mean, that's the problem we've had with our lifts.
What kind of lift do you have?
Well, right now we have Rycons. Our new ones will be Braun.
Okay. Yeah, the Rycons are not as forgiving as the Braun. We've had issues with brand new lifts not fully deploying because of exactly what you're talking about. I don't think anybody really has an answer for that. The best thing, if you call Braun or if you call Rycon, they tell you right in their operating manual, you know, put it on level ground. So they're just going to tell you that it's not on level ground. It's nothing they can do about it. I don't know. You know, there's really not much you can do. On a Braun, you could probably over adjust the platform angle, but then if you went someplace that was level, then you're going to have issues in that direction too. So it's really difficult. And we have, even the pavement being deteriorated here will sometimes stop them from fully deploying. The Braun will go down, your platform feet will hit the ground and it stops because it's, you know, it's literally like it's on a gravel road and you have to put your foot on it, you know, on an empty platform. You have to basically stand on it to get the lift to go down. So it is an issue. I don't know. I guess they designed the lift so that you have a smooth concrete floor every place, but we all know that's not true.
Yeah, we also ran into it with like brand new Braun lifts where the outer roll stop, it'll come down and it won't fully deploy. And then you have to step on it to get it to fully deploy. And obviously it doesn't pass DOT that way. So we have to make all sorts of adjustments, lube it up like crazy. And I think we worked them like 100 times over to finally get them to go out. And we hit Braun on that. And that's basically what they told us to do. And eventually they worked, but if it wasn't absolute like perfect ground, it was a little bit of a pain. It didn't deploy all the way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I know we have adjusted ours the same way, just like you spoke about with the end. It doesn't go all the way down,
Yep.
and we lube them up. And
Especially when the feet, it gets worn off. It gets worn after a while. So it makes it harder for it to actually deploy all the way down. And I mean, operators will take their foot and step on it, and that'll do it most of the time. I mean, but that's not, obviously it should deploy fully. It's just what
Yeah.
it is.
With the
I know it is a DOT issue if it doesn't.
Right. With the bronze, we have had to, there's the four mount bolts that mount the outer roll stop to the lock mechanism. We've had to loosen that up, run the lift up and down to get it basically where it would center itself and make itself happy, and then snug the bolts back down in order to get it to work. There are some intricacies that get really, really minute with getting these things to work so that they function for the customer and meet DOT and NHTSA requirements. So there is a little bit of a challenge sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Does anybody else have any questions? If you think of any, please email them to me or email them to Kevin or Mike. We will make sure that they get answered.
Yeah, our email, I mean, you can easily just email tech@buscrazy.net. That's the easiest one we have for you guys. And it's just tech@buscrazy.net. I did not put that in the slide. I should have, but if you call that number, we can give that to you too. So
yeah, if you do the tech@buscrazy.net, put in the address line something, wheelchair question, because there's 5 of us that see that, and that way they'll know to bring it to my attention that there's a question, and so I can get it answered. And hopefully, if you have any questions, and like I said, if you run into a problem, don't hesitate to call. I've helped customers for the last 13 years, and I will continue doing so.
Okay, awesome. Well, and again, this meeting will be able to be viewed on our YouTube channel. So if anybody wanted to go back and hear it again or focus on certain parts of it, it'll be there. And plus, you can always email me your questions, or Kevin or Mike can email either one of them or myself. And like I said, I will make sure that the questions get answered. So I want to thank the two of you for your presentation. It was it's good to keep everybody on the same page. We've all got lifts. We're all having the same issues, and we're all trying to get 100% on our DOTs. So with our ASE certification, moving on now from the presentation, Jim Lorette from North Colony is setting up his own account so that he can link it to ours, and we will be able to pay for his training. And like I said, if you guys think of anybody else that you want to be master school bus certified, please nominate them by writing a letter and sending it to George Giel. I know I sent the email address out there before, but I'll continue to send it out. And in fact, I'll put it in our newsletter. And speaking of that, our dues letter, let me show you, for those of you that didn't see it, I'm going to present now. Okay. Can everybody see that? This is what it looks like. And you scroll down the page, and it's got some of our videos. Goes down through and tells about our organization, vendors, scholarship program, ASE certification program. This was this year's training schedule. So as you can see, we have coming up, we have multiplex systems will be our next training session. That'll be on the 18th. And then in June, we have the roundtable. So we need questions for the roundtable. We need all the questions in advance if we can get it. it speaks about the $50 membership fee. And as you go down, there is the dues. Now, for the year 22-23 school year, the dues will be accepted starting July 1st. So we don't expect anybody to pay yet, but it is out there, and the dues will be due for the upcoming year. Okay, so that is our dues letter. The other thing that we need to know is if you guys want to have in-person meetings again. I know I put this out before where I was asking people to email me or let me know one way or the other if you'd rather have virtual or in-person. And so far, most of the people that have gotten back to me prefer the virtual because it keeps them in the shop. You know, most people are driving. I know it was COVID that was keeping us apart. Now it's lack of drivers. But definitely let me know, because the next meeting, you know, we could go either way. And I'll let everybody know as we get closer to that date. Same thing with the the round table. That's going to be June. We need to know if we want to do that virtual or in person. So definitely let me know. Okay, so yeah, and like I said, our next meeting will be on what was that? Next meeting will be held on May 18th. And John Metzler will be presenting on multiplex systems with Matthews Bus. So does anybody have any other questions or anything to add to today's meeting? If not, I'm going to go ahead and close the meeting. But definitely, I need some input. We need training topics for the next year coming up, because I'm starting to work on that. So whatever you guys want to learn about, please shoot me an email if you want more lift training, more air conditioning training, more Cummins Insight, you know, whatever topics that you want, and we'll put it together. So does anybody have anything else to add? Okay, I'm going to close the meeting. Thank you guys for coming, and thanks again for the presentation.
Thanks, everyone. Dan, have a good day.
You too.